Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. My name is Amy. Welcome to my show. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. We have been hit with some terrible storms here in Arkansas. A lot of flooding, a lot of wind damage, trees down everywhere. My power has gone in and out 3 or 4 times this evening. So, yeah, it's been an interesting weekend. James and Jennifer Crumbley, the parents of the accused Oxford High School shooter, Ethan Crumbley, had a court appearance again this week. Now, they have twice asked for their bonds to be reduced, to which the judge would not do. He would not reduce their bonds. So now their lawyers are asking for their charges to just be voided. As you all know, if you're following this case, James and Jennifer Crumbley have been charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter related to the shooting at Oxford High School by their son, Ethan Crumbley. And this is, new territory. This is the first time we have ever seen parents be arrested for and be held accountable in a court of law for what their kid did. But their lawyers say that there is no legal justification for these charges, and they should not be held responsible for what their son did. Their lawyers have also filed 4 motions this week. One is that they have asked to exclude various pieces of evidence that the Crumbleys feel are irrelevant to their case. There's also been a motion filed to bar prosecutors from publicly discussing the case. The evidence that they are asking to be excluded, they've already asked, and the judge granted it, that their son's name not be said during their trial. So, I don't know how they're going to refer to Ethan during his parents' trial. I don't know if they're going to refer to him as their son or the defendant in this case or the shooter or what they're going to do. But the evidence that they are asking to have excluded, just when I think that this case cannot get any more disturbing, more and more comes out about what was going on in Ethan's mind. They are asking that Ethan Crumbley's 22-page journal, where he wrote all of his plans for the school shooting, be excluded. They are asking that text messages between Ethan Crumbley and his only friend, that his mom laughed at him when he asked for help, and his dad just told him to suck it up. So they're asking that those text messages be excluded from their case that Ethan told his friend through text messages. They also want to exclude Ethan's internet searches and all evidence related to his Instagram post. They want to have any discussion of their hobby for riding horses and taking care of horses and whatnot be excluded. As we know, for those who have followed this case, it seemed that the Crumbleys were more interested in their horses and less interested in their son. They've also asked that their marital discord be excluded. Both of them were, I think, fooling around on each other. Jennifer Crumbley definitely was. So any problems in their marriage with their split up and affairs, they're asking to have that evidence excluded as well. They're also asking that any testimony and evidence related to a bird head that was found in a jar in Ethan's bedroom be excluded. They are asking that any testimony of the parents' involvement in alcohol and marijuana be excluded. They are also asking that a Nazi Germany coin that was found in their home, they're asking that evidence to be excluded. The defense is also asking to have excluded how much time Ethan spent playing video games and any evidence that would attack the parenting actions of the defendants in general. And I'll go on. They're asking that the journal and the internet searches be excluded because these are prejudicial against the parents, and the parents had no knowledge of the journal or the text messages between Ethan and his friend or what he was searching on the internet. They're claiming clueless. They are also asking that some things that Ethan wrote in his journal regarding politics be excluded. Ethan wrote in his journal that when he did this school shooting, after he did this school shooting, that he hoped his actions would be so big that sleepy fucking Joe Biden would have to sleazy make an apology to the American people. And he hopes that his shooting at the school will get Biden impeached. Now, we all know that this past election, there has been a lot of controversy about the election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. A lot of controversy, a lot of animosity, a lot of hatred, accusations of racism and anti-LGBTQ. From both sides of the spectrum, Republicans and Democrats, there has just been so much animosity and controversy and hatred from both sides against each other that this past election has caused families to be torn apart, friendships to be torn apart. That I can speak for my own self. It has caused a huge divide in this country. So they don't want any of the jurors to hear this testimony because they don't want the jurors' personal political beliefs to be any kind of deciding factor in their guilt or innocence, for that matter. They feel that it's just too prejudicial whether a juror on the jury is a Trump supporter or whether a juror on the jury is a Biden supporter. They want their political beliefs excluded. Now, I believe there were some pictures on their Facebook pages that they were Trump supporters. And, this is one thing that I can say that, yes, I do feel that any speech of their sons or any speech from themselves for what their political beliefs are or who they voted for president, I do feel that needs to be excluded and should not have any bearing on whether or not the jury finds them guilty or finds them innocent, for that matter. Because no one can deny what the presidential election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, the damage that it has done in our country, amongst the American people, and between the American people, friends, families, co-workers, you name it. The hearing motions, the hearing for these motions has been scheduled for June the 27th, and they have set a tentative trial date for Jennifer and James Crumbley for October the 24th. Now, that is subject to change. I believe they are going for trying to try Ethan first before they try the parents, which makes sense because you have to have, you know, he has to be found guilty of this crime so that they can, before they can ever be found guilty of this crime as well. You know, it is, honestly, it is just so disturbing what was going on in this young boy's mind. He wrote in his journal that he wanted his first victim to be a pretty girl with a future so she can suffer like he has had to suffer, meaning Ethan. He also wrote in his journal, I have fully mentally lost it after years of fighting with my dark side. My parents won't listen to me and get me help or a therapist. He also wrote in his journal, I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I'm not trying to hurt you by doing this. I have to do this. Who knows? You know, if they had just listened to their son when he asked for help. It's obvious that his mind was in an extremely dark place. He was having extremely dark homicidal ideation thoughts. And this kid needed help. You know, it's going to be interesting because Ethan's lawyers are going for an insanity defense. And it'll be interesting to, you know, hear the testimony in his trial and hear doctors and psychiatrists and things like that, you know, testify about what was going on in Ethan's mind. Because I honestly, you know, this kid had no empathy. He wanted to be known. He wanted to be infamous and go down in history. Like Charles Manson, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy. And it's just, it is so disturbing to know that these kind of thoughts were going on in a 15-year-old kid's mind. That's scary. That's very scary. You know, he could have easily just as well had homicidal ideation thoughts of killing his parents. You know? I don't know if they have thought about this or their lawyers have thought about this, you know. But the kid was a loner. his only friend was moved away, and all he could think about was death and murder and just the most horrifying thoughts were going on in his mind. And to hear him say that his mom just laughed at him and his dad threw some pills at him and told him to suck it up. Like, they had no time for this kid. They were too busy invested in their own lives and their affairs and their jobs and their hobbies of horse riding and whatnot, and their 15-year-old son was just left to his own thoughts and demons. And now 4 kids are dead because I feel that they are at fault. I feel that they should be held accountable for not doing anything to help their son. They bought him the gun. That evidence is on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot, that they bought him that gun. The evidence is on, I believe, Facebook and Instagram that mom took her baby boy to the shooting range. And the gun case was found in the master bedroom on the bed, and it was not locked. So he had access to this gun. And they bought this gun for him. There is clear evidence of that. So I feel, and it's just my opinion, and everyone has a right to their own opinion, that these parents should be held accountable for this. We as parents are responsible for our kids till they're 18 years old. He lived under their care, under their roof, and he was their responsibility. Oh, well, we didn't know he was going to shoot up the school. We didn't know this. We didn't know that. Well, you should have been paying a little bit more attention to your son than your damn self. That's what I have to say about that. So, but this, will definitely be interesting to see how this all plays out, and whether or not that these parents are held accountable. So, but that's all I have for this evening. Just wanted to bring everyone that update. And, what do you think about this? Do you think that these parents should be held liable for the actions of their son? Or not? Everyone have a wonderful evening. I guess I'm going to sit here and listen to it thunder and lightning and rain. So, you all have a wonderful weekend, and please remember to be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Good night, everyone. Peace out.
Hey, y'all. This is Ella Mae from the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. If you love all things true crime, then please hit the subscribe button down below and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And please give us a thumbs up because you're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of our hospitality. True crime,